our renowned career counselor. Shayna, take the floor.
Hi. First of all, thank you. This has been so exciting to listen to and so informative, and I hope everyone's enjoying it as much as I have. There's so many amazing options, and I just think like just a few years ago, this was not a thing that you could just get a degree and have these kind of jobs from home. So there's so many great options. So what I'm here for is, so how do you choose from these incredible options? It could be daunting, and I've been speaking to people day and night who are feeling like they have to sign up right now, and how do I make this lifelong decision, which is pretty scary. So obviously the first step is getting to know yourself, right? We don't really care. The first thing we don't really care about is like what's popular, what your friends are doing. Even the price of the program shouldn't really be the number one decision maker. Really, it's getting to know yourself. So there's of course a lot that we can do of getting to know yourself, aptitude testing. There's so many ways that you can actually take a test and find out what are my skills, what would I be good at, and it's true. It doesn't lie. Many clients who have taken tests have actually signed up for many of these programs and call me back a year or two later, and they're really happy because they were able to take testing and do something that they're really loving doing, and they're starting jobs that they're enjoying. If you want a free version of a basic personality test, a lot of you may be familiar already with the Myers-Briggs, but if you haven't, or if you've taken it and you know I'm like an INFJ or one of those letters and you don't really know what it is or how it applies to you, so this website, if you can see here, if you want to write it down, I really like as like a free version. It's not going to be the best test you ever took, but 16personalities.com, I highly recommend if you haven't done that yet. It's a great place to get started. And the first step of knowing yourself. Of course, personality is just one aspect. There's a lot more that you can get to know with further testing. But if you haven't done that, go there. Now, if you take a test or you've taken those sorts of tests and you don't really know what to do with your results, it happens very often where you say like, okay, this is true. I'm an introvert. I'm emotional. I'm organized. How does that choose a career for me? And it has a list like, you know, airline pilot and random things that you probably wouldn't be considering for your lifestyle. So you can get in touch if you'd like. That's my email, coach@shaynakarens.com. If you have any quick questions and you're here, I'm happy to follow up with you. Okay, so the next thing is that I find that a lot of people struggle with, and a lot of people that I meet with, is that they do what's popular. So I get to meet a lot of people who, I'm assuming that most of you are graduates, recent graduates, or started a job that maybe you're not so happy and you're looking to get, you decided that it's time to go to college, or take one of these programs. And I meet so many people who are a bunch of years later. They're 25, they're 30, they're 35, and they did what was popular, was considered good. For example, speech therapy. It's considered an excellent degree, and we probably all know lots of excellent speech therapists who love their jobs. But that doesn't mean that it's something that you should do. And unfortunately, I meet a lot of people who've done trainings like that and taken out student loans, which would have been a great idea had they been good at it. But just spend the time to get to know yourself now so you can make the right decision, because I warned you, I don't want to see you in my office in 5 or 10 years from now saying like, I know I did this and I spent so many years and I got a good job, but like I can't do it anymore. So we want to avoid that from happening. So start with your personality testing, look for aptitude tests, get in touch with me for recommendations. Another thing that I want to mention, a lot of people are afraid of there being a flooded market. You know, like you live in a place where, you know, there are a lot of graduates and you think, well, like I'm just going to be another one, I'm not going to find a job. It's very rare that that's actually the case, and I'll tell you why. Even, first of all, I really have gotten to know TTI more recently, and they are very careful to follow up with their students and get to know who's finding jobs. And they've actually cut programs that if there was a chance that people weren't getting jobs immediately. So you can trust them on that account. And then the other thing is that if you've gotten to know yourself and done the proper steps to choosing a career, you'll be the best at what you do. So if you're very good and you know yourself and you know that you're choosing this because this is what you love, you'll be the best. The top, whatever it is, percent, the people who are actually good at it and who chose it, not because it made a lot of money or was popular, but because it was right for them, they usually have jobs. Another thing is that don't be afraid of going to the career school, like by thinking that you need to have a fancy degree. I have gotten to know a lot of the instructors at TTI, and I'm amazed people can make just as much money doing photography or one of the other options as something that maybe would be considered more professional. So ask yourself, if you knew you were going to get paid just as much, because sometimes it's because of money, would you still do the option that sounds like a better degree? And don't feel like you must go to longer schooling. There are excellent options in the career school that I recommend looking into before you commit to something that you maybe don't really want to do or aren't serious about. The other thing is I think I mentioned this already a little bit, but I find a lot of people suffer from golden handcuffs, which means that they are already in a high-paying job where they've gotten a degree and they're doing well, but they don't like it. So they don't want to leave, and then they're miserable. So don't choose something just because of the money. Money is important, and I wouldn't recommend going into something without finding out that it can make enough money to pay your bills, to make it worthwhile to go to work. But aside from that, don't just choose the field because computer programming makes the most money, so I'm going to go into that. It does, and if you're good at it, amazing field, I recommend it. But again, just make sure that you're doing what's right for yourself. Any questions, feel free to follow up with me. Thank you so much, TTI and PCS, for providing these amazing opportunities, and I'll hand it back to SD to answer any questions that you may have.
Shayna, thank you so much. I just